Hi everyone, and welcome back to another short video on pendulums. Now, hopefully by now you've found your pendulum, you've cleansed it, and you've had it on your person for a while to help establish that bond. And I certainly recommend doing those processes before you just pick up any old pendulum and start using it. It's so important from an energy point of view to merge yourself with the tool that you're going to be using, be it your necklace, be it a pendulum that you've created or you bought from a shop. It's important to merge and become friends with it, basically. That may sound strange, but that's what we're doing. Down the track, you're going to be using your pendulum to answer some personal questions for yourself, for others perhaps. So it's good to have that trusting bond established first. So we've done all that, and we're so keen to get started in using the pendulum. And we could go straight into firing questions away, but let's do this process, let it unfold properly, so at the end of it you're getting the best use and responses from your pendulum, your friend, the pendulum. So to start off now, what I suggest that we do is we need to become quite mindful that what you're doing with your pendulum is channeling through your higher self. So you're going to choose this. Are you going to channel through your higher self, or are you going to channel through your spirit guide? To start off with, just use the one thing. Just get used to channeling, let's say, your higher self, so you can get to know what it feels like. I've been using pendulums for a while now. Depending on what I'm doing, I have different energies that I call upon to use, and you can feel the difference once you've practiced and used for a long time. So let's use for the purpose of this practice. We've got our pendulum. We're going to now use it for the purpose of connecting and channeling through your higher self. So hold on to your pendulum and create a little ritual before you're doing the use. And another thing I must point out now is, make sure if you're going to sit down and start using your pendulum to ask questions, make sure that you are in the best frame of mind. So you're not sick for a start with, because that can affect the responses, the answers. Make sure that you have either just done a bit of a meditation, or really the main point is you need to get yourself centered. You need to get yourself out of any expectation of what the answers are going to be. Because if say we're doing yes, no types of questions, if you're asking a question and there's a little, even the minutest point of you want a yes response, you could get it. So you could be interfering with the outcome. So if you're going to start using it for that type of activity, make sure that you're as neutral as you can be. Meditate, do perhaps some patting down to clear the energies, the beautiful dry bathing, Japanese practice to clear yourself of anything that you may be carrying around. It really cleanses your space. Begin to calm and settle the mind. You may want to use the breath, just so that you can become centered. Beautiful. And then you've got your pendulum that you're going to be using, holding it in your hands. And we just start to call upon and connect with that higher source that you'll be using and bringing through. And we say, you may want to invite them. What I do before starting to use the pendulum is I get myself into that centered state. I visualize a column of light coming down, around and through me, and I have labeled that. That is my channeling pillar of light. I always use it. And I have charged that channeling pillar of light to ensure that I am getting the highest vibrations, I am protected, and it's the space totally clear and prepared and ready for me to do my pendulum work, to do channeling of the highest success rate. So I've drawn down my beautiful channeling pillar of light. We call upon the higher self, this is what we're using now, to come through for the purpose of doing this pendulum work. And you'll find that connection, the more and more, the stronger the vibration will become, the more and more you use it. And you'll get to know, yes, I'm right in that space now that I am totally clear of any expectations, any answers before doing your pendulum work. Beautiful. And now initially, when you start to use your pendulum and ask for it to start moving, you may not get any movement because you're still new, you're still bonding with this. And if this is the very first time you're doing pendulum work, it may take some time, some practice to get down and get some movement happening in the pendulum. So you may want to start off with, and let's just do this now. Let's say that this is the first time you've used a pendulum. So what we will be doing, we've done the clearing, we've asked and we've coded in that we're going to be doing our pendulum work, and hang the pendulum. Don't have, basically just what we need to do is sit upright and allow the pendulum just to hang in front of you. I try not to have my elbow leaning on the table, just upright and just hanging there in front of you. You can look at it, you can close your eyes to start with. Say to your pendulum, how will you move for a yes answer? And just wait. Wait until your pendulum begins to move for you. So you can say that in your head or say it out loud. Which way will you move for a yes answer? Just keep asking. I know it might get frustrating if it's not moving, but this is you beginning to bond with your pendulum. It will happen. It may take a few days, weeks, but just be patient until you establish that bond. Continue to carry it around with you, cleanse it, until that connection's made. You'll get a connection and then you'll get a movement. So that's generally the way my pendulum will move for a yes response. So then I just bring it to stillness, neutral zone if you like, and then I will ask, which way will you move for a no response? And that's generally the way mine goes, this like that, left to right, right to left, for a no response. Now, I've been using pendulums for a long, long time. When you're starting off, before you get in and get excited and ask your questions, just always double check which way it's going to move for a yes or a no. Until there will come a time, I'll still ask. There'll come a time when you'll know that, okay, your pendulum will respond in a particular way for you. It doesn't hurt to check. The other thing I would generally check, and we'll do this now because it's come up, generally check is the percentage of accuracy. Now, I know if I've got a cold or just feeling a bit tired, from experience, the level of accuracy of the pendulum is different. So I ask it nowadays. Generally, you'll get to know, no, it's not a pendulum day today. But we're starting this journey, so let's ask. You know your yes and your no response. So I generally ask, is my level of accuracy higher, and start at whatever figure you want, higher than 70% today? And it's saying yes. Okay, do you want to get more specific? Just keep asking. Is my level of accuracy today higher than 90%? Yes, it's saying. I don't actually go ahead. I don't really like doing with the pendulum work if I haven't got higher than 95%. So you just keep going until you ask. Is my level of accuracy today higher than 95%? Yes. Okay, that's good. So I would continue to do my pendulum work. Before we get in and asking questions, again, this is the first time we're starting to use pendulums. So let's explore it. You've managed to get your pendulum responding to you with a yes and a no movement. So let's begin to build our confidence. Build our confidence with using pendulums. And there's a way to do that. Good old deck of cards, playing cards. You know, they've the black and the red. Plenty of cards in the pack. So, how do we use cards? So basically, there are only two colours, aren't there? There's a black and there's a red. So, what I would do is just lay the pack, put the pack on the table so you can't see what colour it is, just one card at a time. You've done your checking in with your pendulum, you know what way it's going to go for a yes and a no response. Just put your finger on the card that is face down, channel in, holding your pendulum, just about over the card if you like, to start as we're starting off, and you can ask, is this card a black card? Wait for your response, and you set up two piles, a yes and a no response. Go through the whole pack, and then you'll be able to turn them over. Just see how accurate it was. See how many reds you have got actually in what should be a black pile. That's okay. It's about building your confidence, building up how to use your pendulum, and you'll find over time you'll get it where, you know, pretty accurate. Your responses have been good with using your pendulum. And remember, you can only ask a question that can have one response. Only one question basically is what I'm saying. So, is this a black card? And you'll get a yes or a no. Simple as that. Okay, you can't see me, but let's have a look at what that actually looks like. Here's the deck of cards. With the red or a black, red or a black. You've channeled in, you've tuned into your pendulum, you've asked which way it's going to move for a yes and a no. So we just put one card down, put your finger on the card, hold your pendulum over it as we're beginning to become familiar with using the pendulum, and in your head, or out loud if you like, just ask, is this a black card? Okay, for me, it's responding yes. So I'll put it in my yes pile. Grab the next card. I just keep asking the same question. Is this a black card? Okay, it's telling me it is. So in the yes pile it goes. Next card. Is this a black card? Okay, it's saying it's no. Alright, so over in the no pile. Bring it to central, to neutral. Is this a black card? No. Okay. Is this a black card? Okay, it's saying yes. So, you would go through all of the cards and see how it responds. So we've had some fun exploring just the beginnings of using the pendulums, and I left you that exercise with the cards, seeing whether that's black or red, you know, with getting your correct yes or no responses. So give that a go for a while. Give that a go before we begin to move into the more questions that you might be asking and getting a response. So have some fun practicing that, getting used to the way your pendulum is going to respond for a yes or a no. Try the pack of cards, get them out, and just keep going. And again, don't get upset with yourself if you're not getting a response from your pendulum straight away. Just keep practicing until you've established that bond. It will happen. And for the first time when you get to see it move, it's just so exciting. And on the other side of it, pendulums may not be something for you that you really want to use. And that's okay too. You've explored it, you've given it a shot, you don't really like it. But it is such fun, and I'm sure that that's the way you'll feel at the end of it. So we've had a look at purchasing, cleansing, preparing for use, establishing that bond with your pendulum. There's a little bit of a card practice there to begin to connect and see the movement, establishing that channel, that column of light that you use purely for setting up your channeling with your pendulum. And we've established a connection to your higher self. And don't forget, you can practice and use that for connecting to your guides. And next video we'll have a look at other things that we can do and use your pendulums for. So for now, have some fun exploring, take your time with it, make sure you're at the best peak energy wise to start using your pendulum work. So thank you for watching. Leave me any comments that you like in telling me how you're going with using your pendulums. It'd be great to hear. But for now, have fun exploring the use of your pendulums. Soul blessings.